Hey, it's Erin with Snowberry Design Co. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to paint a succulent arrangement. I want to focus on one of my go-to compositions, which uses a couple of tricks that we'll get into in just a minute. All of the products I'm using will be linked down in the description box below. I'll also leave a link to my new Amazon store, which has all of my favorite products, so be sure to check it out. I'm starting with this lighter blue-green succulent off to the left of the center of my paper. I start with the middle of the succulent, working my way out. The succulent starts out similar to how you'd start a rose, with these petal-shaped strokes working their way around a center dot. That's because when you look at succulents, the middle leaves are so tight that they're pointing upward, and then we'll move on to the outward-facing leaves in just a second. I like to give a few layers of these middle leaves before moving on to the outer ones to help keep that rounded shape. Now I'm adding in my outer leaves. I'm pressing down with my brush just enough to fill in the space, but I'm leaving a little bit of white space in the middle of the leaves for definition. I'm building these individual leaves one by one and working my way around the center that I've already built. Okay, now I'm starting to think about my composition. And one of my go-to compositions that I use all the time is to try and form a triangle with the flowers I'm adding in. So what I mean by that is that the succulents themselves will form a triangle, so if you were to connect the centers, kind of like a dot to dot, you'd see an invisible triangle, if that makes sense. Odd numbers will always feel more balanced than if you were to use even numbers, so this is a great way to practice balance before moving on to tougher compositions. Now that I've got my succulents in place, I'm going to make this a little more interesting by adding some contrast. I'm doing this by adding these string of pearl succulents off to the side. Now I'm going back into this bottom succulent and adding a little bit more green to add some dimension. Going back over a layer that's completely dry is a great, easy way to add depth to your painting. Keep in mind that I'm still working in my groups of 3. I didn't add the string of pearl succulents to the top here, but I've added another sprig-like succulent to help the top feel a little more balanced. I've also added the same shape to the bottom and side of my arrangement to help it feel balanced as well. Now I'm going back in and adding a little bit more string of pearl in a lighter shade so they aren't as heavy looking as the darker ones that are already down on my paper. Now I'm going over the center of my blue succulent, and then I'm going to be adding some purple to this gray succulent to make them feel a little bit different. Last, I'm darkening just a few of these string of pearl succulents to give the piece some contrast and to give it some depth. I'm only adding them to a couple so that they can stand out. I don't want them all to blend together. And now I'm going back in one more time to darken the center of that succulent. And I decided that some of the leaves needed to be darkened up a little bit so that the string of pearls weren't dominating the piece. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. It's totally free to subscribe, and then if you hit that little bell after you subscribe, you'll be notified when I post a new video. If you try this or any of my other tutorials, please post a picture over on Instagram and tag me at Snowberry Design Co. and use the hashtag SnowberryTutorial. Tell me in the comments which flowers you'd like to see next. I've been keeping a list of requests that I'll be getting around to, so be sure to come back and see if I've painted your favorite flower. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!